Today I have another Mommy and Me meal prep for you guys. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you check out all of my Mommy and Me meal preps. I have so many of them and so many toddler meal ideas. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting today's video off with some sheet pancakes. I cannot believe that I've never made these before. This was so simple. So first, I'm preheating my oven to 425 degrees. So now I am mixing up the pancake batter. I'm just using Kodiak cakes because we love it and I love getting in the extra protein for myself and for Luxie. So on the back of the Kodiak cakes box, it actually shows the recipe for sheet pan pancakes, but you can also just double the pancake recipe for any kind of batter that you prefer. So for mine, I'm doing 2.5 cups of Kodiak cake mix and 2.5 cups of milk. You can use any kind of milk that you prefer. And I'm doing 2 eggs. Now I'm just using a hand mixer to blend everything together. Now I'm spraying a 13 by 18 sheet pan with olive oil. You can use whatever type of oil you prefer. Now I recommend really greasing the pan so that way the pancakes do not stick. Now I'm just pouring all of the pancake mix into the sheet pan. I feel like this is the easiest way you could ever make pancakes, and I don't know why I haven't done this sooner, because this is going to make meal prepping even easier. So you guys know how I make the spinach banana pancakes and I freeze them. I'm going to do the same thing but in a sheet pan soon, and I'll let you guys know how that works out. But after I'm done pouring the mixture into the pan, I'm just going to add my toppings. For this time, I'm adding banana and chocolate chips. You can add whatever you want on top. You could put some sprinkles in there. You could put some berries. I mean, be creative with it. You could make it however you want and whatever works best for your family. Now I'm just going to let these bake for about 15 minutes or until the top is golden brown, and then they're ready to go. These turned out way better than I even expected. They were so fluffy and just perfect. I decided to use a pizza cutter to kind of just cut out little squares, and that worked out perfectly. I just let mine cool, and then I put them all in a freezer safe bag, and then to reheat, I just pop them in the microwave for 1 minute, and then I just put some sugar-free syrup on top, and these are delicious. Next up are protein boxes. I absolutely love protein boxes. I usually keep these in the fridge on a weekly basis. They just make for a great on-the-go lunch or snack, just whenever you're not sure what to feed your little one. So first, I am boiling some eggs. Normally I do this in the air fryer, but I had something in the air fryer this time, so I decided to do it on the stovetop. So how I do it is I get a pot, fill it up with water, and put it on the stove. Then I put my eggs in and turn the stove on high. I let it boil and let it be a rolling boil, and then I'll turn the stove completely off and let the eggs sit for about 5 to 10 minutes depending on how soft you like your boiled eggs. Now I'm just going to cut up a block of Colby Jack cheese. So I'm just cutting it down the center and then slicing it all the way through. I love to have cheese in the fridge for snacks or to make Lunchables during the week. But whenever I'm meal prepping, this is just something for a really easy little Lunchable. And it is so inexpensive in comparison to like buying the store-bought stuff without all of the preservatives. Then with the leftover cheese that I'm not using for the boxes, I'm just going to place in a separate container, and that way we can have it on hand for snacks during the week as well. I'm also going to be putting some fruit in with these little lunch boxes, so I'm just doing some strawberries and blueberries. Now that the eggs are done, I'm just going to put them in some ice water so that way it's really easy to peel the shells off. I'm just going to let those sit for about 5 minutes. I also went ahead and washed all of the fruit and put it in these Rubbermaid Brilliance containers. I absolutely love these. I feel like our fruit stays so much longer now that I started using them. Now that I've drained the water out, I'm going to go ahead and peel these eggs. So I like to just hit them with like a knife or a metal spoon, something like that, to kind of break the shell. And then I just pull it off. It's really easy. I'm happy to say that this portion of today's video is sponsored by RW Garcia. R.W. Garcia specializes in crackers and chips that are gluten-free, kosher, certified organic, non-GMO, and my favorite part, all of their products are produced in peanut and tree nut-free facilities. They come in so many different flavors, like my favorite, everything crackers, sweet beet crackers, lentil with turmeric crackers, kale crackers, yellow corn chips, chili cheese corn chips, blue corn chips, and Luxie's favorite, barbecue corn chips.
That's delicious.
Do you want those in your lunchbox?
Uh-huh.
You do?
Uh-huh.
You like them?
Uh-huh.
Let me try. Those are good.
They're spicy and good.
I'll link our favorites on Amazon in the video description below for you to check out. I'm sure you'll love them all. For my protein box, I decided to go with the everything crackers because you guys know how much I love the everything but the bagel seasoning. These little protein boxes are perfect for your on-the-go lunch, snack, if you're trying to hit your goals, or if you're trying to satiate your hunger, or if your little one is just hungry all the time and you're not sure why. This is a great option to fill them up. Next, we're moving on to some chicken pasta. I'm so excited about this one because I tried it when we were out of town and I just grabbed a few things from the grocery store and put this together, and it turned out so yummy and it was so easy. So first, I'm just seasoning some chicken with some pink Himalayan salt and black peppercorn, nothing else. Now for this recipe, you just need 1 chicken breast. You don't need 4. I'm doing 4 so that way I can use it for multiple recipes and have some in the fridge for my husband. So how I do my shredded chicken in the pressure cooker, this is super easy. I just put in 1 cup of chicken broth. It doesn't matter how many chicken breasts you're doing as long as you put 1 cup of chicken broth in there, so that way the pressure cooker has some moisture to work with to actually cook the chicken. So once you do that, you add in your chicken and you're going to pressure cook that on high for 15 minutes. After the time is up, you're just going to release the pressure manually until the red button goes down. You don't even want to try to take the lid off until it is all the way down. Once the chicken is done, I like to take the chicken breasts out and put them in a different bowl. And then once they're all in the bowl, I like to shred them with a hand mixer. This is the easiest way to shred chicken. Don't waste your money buying those little things that you put on your hands or the special gloves or anything. If you have a hand mixer, it works perfectly every time. And of course, you want to make sure that your chicken has reached an internal temperature of at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, normally I would have already cooked my noodles while the chicken was cooking, but I'm cooking several things today, so I was cooking something else. I don't even know right now, but I am going to be cooking some bonza pasta. You guys know I love bonza. I'm also going to be using some vodka sauce as the sauce for this recipe. You could add additional veggies in there if you wanted to and blend the sauce with the veggies. Your little ones will never know. So I'm just adding a little bit of salt to the water and letting that come to a boil before adding in my noodles, and then I'm going to let those noodles cook for about 8 minutes. Now that the time's up, I'm just going to drain the water from the pasta. I just put the pasta back in the pot and no heat, and I'm going to mix everything straight in the pot. So I'm adding in my sauce and my chicken and just mixing everything together really well. Oh, and for reference, I used 2 cups of shredded chicken. So if you were wondering, what the heck did she do with the rest of that shredded chicken? I'm about to show you. I made some chicken salad. So apparently I didn't press record when adding everything to the bowl, so I'm just gonna tell you right now. 1/2 cup of non-fat Greek yogurt, 6 tablespoons of reduced fat mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of celery salt. Then you're going to mix all of that up really well, and then you'll add in 3 cups of shredded chicken and half a cup of chopped celery. Now you can half this recipe to make half of the amount. I just made a lot, so that way I can make about 4 sandwiches or 4 bowls with chips for me and Luxie this week. I'm going to store all of this in an airtight container. I love these Pyrex ones, and I have them linked in my kitchen section on my Amazon storefront if you're interested. Pretty much everything that I used in today's video is linked on my Amazon storefront, so be sure to check that out. We are also going to be eating these with the organic kale crackers from RW Garcia. They're delicious. Next up are salmon bowls. I contribute a lot of my fat loss to this meal alone because it's one of my favorites. It just doesn't get old and it's so good to me. So first I'm preheating my air fryer at 375 degrees while I prep my salmon. I got this big boy on sale at Walmart, so I bought the whole thing, and I'm just gonna chop it up, season the whole thing, and freeze half of it and then eat the other half this week. So I'm just going to take it out, wash it, pat it dry with a paper towel, and start adding my seasonings. When I season with love, y'all, I mean I season with love. I want to taste the flavor. So a lot of the times when I tell you guys I measure with my heart, that's exactly what I do. I have no idea how much magic I put into this salmon, but it was delicious. So I'm putting on some garlic, some pink Himalayan salt, some onion powder, paprika, and black peppercorn. And it's a perfect combination. When I'm counting my macros, I normally weigh all of this out, but I'm not currently. I'm just eating what I feel like is right and stopping eating whenever I'm full. So I'm just slicing these salmon pieces up, and I'll be placing half of them in the freezer, and then I'm going to cook the other half. Now I'm going to place them in the air fryer and spray a little bit of olive oil on top to give it some crunch. And I'm going to let that cook for 15 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. For the rice, I'm going to be using some riced cauliflower. Super easy. I just buy the Green Giant frozen bags, put it in the microwave for 5 minutes. Look at that salmon, y'all. It comes out perfect every time. Now it's time to assemble the bowls. I'm going to be making 4 meals, so I have 4 containers out. Now, if you wanted more riced cauliflower than this, then you can make 2 bags, because honestly, this isn't a lot, but it's a perfect amount for me. That's why I do it this way. So just do whatever works best for you. So I'm splitting this bag between the 4 bowls. Now I'm just going to remove the skin because I don't like doing it while I'm eating because it just kind of grosses me out. So I'm going to take care of it beforehand. After the salmon is placed in the bowls, I'm just going to use some everything but the bagel seasoning on top of everything. Now I'm going to be using liquid aminos, which is kind of like soy sauce. It tastes just like soy sauce to me, but without all of the sodium. And I'm just going to put a little bit on top of each one. Whenever it comes time to actually eat this, I like to smush up the salmon, kind of mix everything together and place it inside of the little seaweed wraps. And it's like a delicious little sushi bowl. It's so good. So I'm just going to place the lids on it, throw it in the fridge, and I will warm them up as I need them. Next up are some turkey and cheese wraps. These are super easy. It's very much like the protein boxes that I made before, but just a little bit different. I'm going to be using apples in this box, so I'm just going to cut up 2 apples and place them in some water with some lemon juice and kind of let them soak while I'm making the rest of the boxes. This is going to help the apples from turning brown. Now I'm just going to be putting a few of these baby carrots in the containers, and for Luxie's I'm going to cut them up a little bit because for some reason she just doesn't like the whole version of it. Now it's time for the turkey wraps. There is nothing special about these. They are so simple to make, and that's why I love making them. So I'm just placing some deli turkey on my cutting board, and then I'm going to take some sliced cheddar cheese and fourth it and then put it inside each one of these little turkey slices and roll it up. I'm putting 3 in each box for myself and then 2 for Luxie. Now I'm going to make some healthier ranch. So I've got my little scale out so that way I can just figure out how much of the ranch seasoning to put in the Greek yogurt. but I ended up putting double in there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So really, you were supposed to use 1 packet per 16 ounces, but I was just going to do 8 ounces of Greek yogurt, so I was supposed to use half. Then I tasted it and it wasn't that great, so I just used the whole packet and it tasted much better. Now I'm just going to put the ranch into these little silicone cupcake molds. I use these for everything. I use them in these little boxes that I make. I use them to make muffins and cupcakes, of course, and egg bites. They're so helpful. Now that the apples have soaked for quite a while, I'm just going to lay them out on a paper towel and pat them dry and then place them in the boxes. Again, these little boxes are so helpful when it comes to meal times and you're a busy mama. You just pop them out of the fridge and let your little one start eating. We are at the last recipe, you guys. So this is a healthy Mexican skillet, and I enjoyed this one so much. It was so yummy. So first I have my cute little helper who is trying to take all of my ingredients. For my ingredients, I have 1 pound of ground beef, 1 bell pepper, 1 small onion, some taco seasoning, rotel, some more cauliflower rice, and a little bit of water for the taco seasoning. So I'm just going to cut up an onion and bell pepper to cook with the ground beef. I actually only ended up using half of the bell pepper because it just seemed like a lot. Now I'm just putting a large pan on the stove and adding in my onion, bell pepper, a little bit of olive oil, and my 1 pound of ground beef. I'm just going to cook the ground beef until there's no pink in it. I got so tired of buying those packets of taco seasoning, so I just got this big one at Costco and I just measure it out as I need it now, and I love it so much. But I'm just mixing that up and placing it in the meat. I'm going to let that cook just for a few minutes while stirring it. Now I'm going to add in the rest of my ingredients. I'm just putting the cauliflower rice in completely frozen because it's going to cook in the pot, so you don't need to worry about microwaving it. I'm going to add in my rotel and stir everything up very well and let that simmer with the lid on for 10 minutes. This smells so good while you're cooking it. I actually smelled it the next morning because I forgot to turn on my air purifier and it made me so hungry. But this was so good. I just scooped it out into bowls and we actually had it for dinner that night too. So good. I decided to serve it with a little bit of shredded cheese on top, and I actually added a little bit of sour cream on mine later, and it was so good like that and very filling. Highly recommend. If you wanted to add some carbs in there, you could use regular rice instead, but it was so yummy. And then I'm just putting the rest in a big container to keep in the fridge for later. Thanks for watching. Don't forget I have plenty of meal ideas on my channel and I've made a playlist just for you. Check out the video description to watch more, shop my Amazon storefront, and to find me on Instagram.